Welcome back to the channel. So today we're trying something a little bit different with the brand new 2022 BMW iX xDrive 50. So the xDrive implies all-wheel drive. It's always intelligent all-wheel drive from BMW. Also means there's two motors in this car, one over each axle, providing 516 horsepower as well as 564 pound-feet of torque, or as we usually say here, torques. So BMW rates this car 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, so you can bet it's probably a little bit faster than that as well. And it's BMW's first all-electric SAV, or sports activity vehicle, for the US market. Let's talk about some styling cues as well. So we'll start with the front grille. All right, so now to the grille. So obviously this is the most controversial part of the design of the car. So it's not functional in terms of aerodynamics or for cooling, but it does cue up designs from the 4 Series as well as the 4 Series Grand Coupe and the M3 and M4. So even though it's not functional, a lot of sensors are hidden behind this panel here. So if you had Active Driving Assistance Pro, sensors are up here, radar for cruise control, as well as parking sensors. And the cool thing about this grille is it's actually self-healing. So if you got some damage on this, you know, not like I smashed through, but it will self-heal with time as well as heat. There's also some heating elements in here, making sure this is defrosted in the winter. And I think the cool thing about this is the only thing you can open on the hood. It's for the washer fluid. Consumers cannot get under the hood of this car. So now let's move to the side and we'll talk about the wheels. All right, so now to the wheel. So this is the Style 1012 with non-run flat tires. There's no run flat tires available on the iX. You can also get other sizes of wheels from 20-inch up to 22-inch, and those do affect the range of the vehicle as well. We'll explain that coming up. All right, so now moving on to another favorite feature of mine, it's the door handle. As you can see, it's flush against the body, which is great for aerodynamics, but also is part of BMW history. So this is reminiscent of the door handles on the E31 8 Series, as well as the E36 3 Series. The only difference is the handle doesn't pop out when you lift it. The handle is actually, the mechanism to release the door is actually behind there. It doesn't actually move at all. So that's all you have to do to open up the door. Pretty cool. All right, so moving on, we've got our charging port door, which is located where you'd find the fuel door on a regular gas-powered vehicle. So pop it open, pretty easy to do. The other design point that we really like is this iX logo here, which basically cuts off the roof from the body, giving the appearance of a floating roof, just like you would have on the i3. All right, let's take a look at the back of the car now. So you see the taillights here, nice and slim LED. And let's kick open the trunk here. Watch the taillights. Now one thing to note, we have to have taillights here because the original taillights are on a movable part of the body of the car. So regulations dictate you have to have something else here if that's movable. All right, let's take a look at the trunk. So there's one secret compartment here underneath. It gets you a pretty good storage here so you can hide things away underneath. Trunk space is a little bit small, especially compared to the X5. But one thing the iX has that the X5 does not are these controls back here, basically latches to fold down the seats with the push of a button. Ta-da! But they're not electronic, so you have to go in front and put the seats back up. And that's it for the back of the car. All right, so now let's move into the interior of the iX. So we open up the door. This is the impression that you get. You can see it's minimalist in design and great in terms of luxury material. So the first thing you'll probably notice is this steering wheel here. So it's hexagonal in shape, allowing you a very good view of the instrument panel, represented by part of the curved heads-up, represented by part of the display system here. It's all curved. You see the materials here. This is the stone gray microfiber and wool. It's the only one like this. Other options for vegans are the Sensitech, as well as a sustainable leather. So there's 2 leathers involved as well. So you can actually All right, so the other thing you want to notice on the door, which is brand new for BMW, are the controls for the seat. Now, if you get the luxury package, these seat controls and this stuff here will all be in glass, basically crystal displays. So it's very luxurious. That's all new for BMW. So normally you're getting the seat controls on the seat itself. Let's talk about the seat as well. So it's very comfortable. Nice quilted features here for the microfiber. But the one thing you'll notice is the bolstering is not great. So this is not really a sports car or sports SAV. The seat isn't going to hug you and keep you in place very well. It's more for comfort. And it's perfect. So let's move to the back row here for your passengers. Because the wheelbase is roughly the same as the X7, passengers are going to get a ton of space. So I'm going to demonstrate here. So I'm sitting in, I've got tons of leg room in front of me. Perfect. No one's going to complain about rear passenger space. And then headroom is fantastic. So you got your panoramic panel, glass panel up here. And look at the space. No one's going to complain about space back here. Okay, so now we're going to talk about iDrive 8. Just going to be basic stuff here. So as you can see, you got this great curved display, huge, also touchscreen, and very responsive. So a lot of things have changed with iDrive 8 in comparison to iDrive 7. Some of these features have been moved and hidden. As you can see, climate control. There's no buttons down here for climate control. All of it is controlled through this climate menu here. So obviously you have quick access to heating, but you need to change things. You have to go in this menu here. So this side of the screen is all for the driver. So you have controls for your heated steering wheel, the radiant heating, heated seats, fan speed, and where the air is blowing. So if you want to control the passenger, you basically swipe over, and you get very similar controls over here. That's it for the climate menu here. Pretty easy to use. All right, so moving down. So you notice on this floating center console here, where you normally find the driving modes, in order to change between sport and other modes, you have to press this My Modes button, which is right there. All right, so you have 3 driving modes up here: personal, sport, and efficient. The only way you can sort of change any of the settings here is through sport. So then you hit settings, and you have all those controls that you normally find for drivetrain, dynamics, steering. How you change it is basically just clicking here. So comfort and sport, dynamics, you can switch between sport and sport plus, etc. So pretty cool. That's the only way you can change anything within the drive settings there, only in sport mode. All right, so let's move on to the instrument panel that's in front of the driver. So you can see it's clearly visible through the hexagonal steering wheel, and you can change the design here and what's presented in the middle. And it's all controlled through this button here. That brings up a menu up here. So we got content. So you can change what's displayed here. So this one's great for determining how much range you can get. So right now, the range is 233 miles. Now, if you drive the most efficient methods, you can extend it out to 325 miles of range. But if you go nuts, your range is going to get reduced to 155 miles. Go back in, and we press. And we got our sense individual, and the odometer, and then speed. There's a bunch of different options here to do it. And for the heads-up display, if you look up that way, you can change what is displayed there as well. So you got the route preview, as well as the reduced mode there. So 3 different modes you can use for the heads-up display. All right, so the other thing we can change the instrument panel is the layout. So right now you see this sort of nice reduced format. We scroll up, we get a different format here showing your speedometer as well as the power that you're using. And then an even wider display here. So and a little bit more compact display here with the speed also shown on the left side of the screen. But pretty cool different layouts you can use for your screens, however you'd like. And heads-up display. There are 3 different layouts here. So one of them is going to be reduced mode, route preview, and normal view. So I know it's probably a little bit hard to see, but pretty cool nonetheless. All right, so we're going to demonstrate to you what augmented reality navigation looks like. So first we're going to have to put in a destination just down the road. We use that using voice commands. Navigate to Alice's restaurant.
I've selected Alice's restaurant. Should I start the guidance?
Yes, start guidance.
Our next destination is Alice's restaurant.
So I put the car also in sport mode just so I can feel how that feels, and also you'll get a taste of the iconic electric sounds that composer Hans Zimmer.
The expected drive time is 4 minutes.
That composer Hans Zimmer designed for the iX and the i4. So starting off pretty slow right now, and it picks up real fast. In terms of driving feel, I mean, I'm not great with the how the steering wheel feels. A little bit of play on center, but pretty communicative and direct steering. Kind of some windy roads too. And the augmented reality will show up maybe about a quarter of a mile before we have to turn. So we'll just have to be patient until we get to our destination. But lovely California evening up here on Skyline Boulevard. But like I said, this really isn't a sports car. It's quick, but I don't think it's going to be agile. You're going to feel the car in a turn, so it's got a lot of weight to it, obviously. It does have a dynamic handling package that helps out a little bit, but I'm sure better seasoned reviewers will have better views on the driving dynamics of the iX than I would. But it's fun. You can take these turns fairly well. All right, so roughly half a mile out now from our destination.
In half a mile, turn left and then turn right.
So just keep your eyes on the screen here, and we'll get it displaying very soon. It should help you guys out there who are bad with directions and bad when to turn.
In a quarter of a mile, turn left onto California 84 and then turn right.
All right, so it should show up. There we go. So it's showing you some directions. On there, you notice the left turn coming up as well. And it's going to show you basically Mario Kart style or Forza driving.
Turn left onto California 84 and
when you
then
need to turn,
right.
you see here? Perfect direction. So you make sure you make that turn when you need to. And then finally we have to take a right turn up here as well. And that's it. It's a really good feature. Alright, so speaking of the quick return trip here, give you a little wider angle view of the driver's sort of perspective here. So you can see the hexagonal steering wheel is actually a pretty good design. Hands at 9 and 3, and it's perfect in terms of grip. And you have a good view into the instrument panel from the steering wheel. We don't have guidance active now, but you can see the advantage of the very wide screen for navigation. You can also use this with Apple CarPlay and use your Waze, your Google Maps, your Apple Maps as well, whatever you want to choose, all displayed nicely. You see here it just turns to dark mode. It's basically really dark right now because we got tree cover above us. All right, so we got some slower moving cars in front of us, but not a big deal. That's the best feature about this widescreen display is the resolution is fantastic. I think that hexagonal steering wheel is probably going to take a little bit of time to get used to, but it feels really good in the hands. As I said, 9 and 3, perfect position for your hands, perfect for the steering wheel as well. If you switch it to B mode, the one pedal driving mode, as you're coasting you can regenerate power. It's pretty significant, especially going downhill for an extended amount of time. You can add to your range as you're driving or coasting down the hill. So going uphill, you have to add a little bit more juice. Here, as you see, my power meter is at 25% roughly going up this hill. Now we're out of the tree cover.